JJ, we got Johnson. We got Johnson at 26. We got Johnson at 26. This is great.
It is Matt, it is Richie. We are hanging out with the Jets Lounge guys. Richie, my man, how's it going?
Matt, this is sick. We're at the Jets Lounge event in Farmingdale. The main event is what it's called. We got the entire Rucker family over there.
Jets!
And hello, this is Jets Chaos. We are here in November before Thanksgiving talking about how to rebuild the New York Jets. And you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. I mean, what else is there to do? And I am here joined with the voice of the GM that will, if you're not careful, might take you out. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. It's a Monday. And you know what? You brought up a good point the other day. You said we may as well start, thinking about how we're going to rebuild this team and how we would do it, because really there's nothing else to do at this point if you're a Jets fan. I mean, the season's over, right?
The season's been over for me for 50 years running. No, seriously.
Yeah.
We fall for the same thing every 3-4 years, and we're at the same place we started again. Correct?
You said it all along. Nobody listens. Everybody, and it's amazing. No matter how, no matter how right you are, no one will give it credit. They're still laughing and saying, "Oh, that guy." I mean, you said Zach Wilson was a tremendous mistake. He was a tremendous mistake. You said trying to build a football team by patching together offensive linemen every year and changing them won't work. And everybody said, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just get the good players and it doesn't matter. I mean, it's been nothing but denying what you've said. And yet everything you've said has happened. And every bit of everything we've done that I've done with you is show evidence, constantly showing evidence. And we'll do it again today, just constantly showing evidence that the things you're saying truly works, because every good organization, every good team follows the things you're talking about, except for very few outliers. And it makes no sense to me why people would pick the outlier and say, well, that team this year was able to do it with a new offensive line. And we're going to ignore the fact that every other team that's won a Super Bowl, 10 out of the last Super Bowl winners out of the last 11 have had offensive lines with guys that are coming back year after year, and people just say we're going to ignore that and pretend it doesn't matter.
Exactly, Jeremy. Now, my first thing as the new Jet GM is I'm hiring you as the assistant GM. You want the job?
As long as there's going to be pizza at One Jet Drive, I'm there every day, first thing in the morning.
You get to pick the pizzas every day.
Okay.
Okay, now let's start. You want to go over all the mistakes we've made and not do them again? Well, we've talked about that as Jets fans for how long, right? All the mistakes the Jets constantly make over the course of history. I think the smartest fan base should be the New York Jet fans, because we already know what failure looks like consistently. Our goal here is to not make the same mistakes that we've done through the course of history.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me, Jeremy?
Oh yeah, we got to be different.
Right. We're gonna follow the same blueprint that the Detroit Lions are following, the Falcons, the Vikings, the teams that are up and coming and doing well and have something to grow on. That's what we're looking for, which means that we're not drafting a quarterback in the first round this year unless we grade him as a first round pick.
You mean
So
you mean we shouldn't just listen to the media, and if the media says the quarterback's good, we don't take him? We should actually do our own research. Maybe the Jets organization should stop listening to announcers and NFL people around the league that hype up players of their choice, but actually look at tape and determine the qualifications and skill of each player on our own.
Exactly.
And
that was the first mistake. This is what New York always does. Okay, it's a hype machine. Let's go sign the biggest free agent. Let's go draft this guy or that guy. And we need to look at fits for our roster, and we need to build it right. Okay? The first thing we need to do is study a quality roster.
Okay.
You want to bring up Green Bay's roster from 2015.
Okay. Got that up here somewhere. Okay. Oh, that's not going to help. I got to share the screen, though.
Correct.
Yeah. You want me to share the screen? You want everybody else to get to see it also.
Exactly.
Okay.
We want to be interactive here, too. We want them to comment, and we want to listen to what they have to say, because we're going to be asking them questions about what they want to do.
Sure. So here we go. Here is the roster for Green Bay, and I want everybody to know, when you see a date next to the player's name, that is the year they were drafted by Green Bay. If they don't have that little date there, that means they were not drafted by Green Bay. Just wanted to make that clear to everybody so they know what we're talking about.
Right. Now, what's going on with the offense, Jeremy?
It looks like every single player except one player on the entire offense was actually drafted by Green Bay as far as the starters. No free agents. Just draft picks.
Exactly. Okay. Now, are you following along with the continuity and the chemistry on offense with the Green Bay Packers and Rodgers? Do you see it? It's actually on paper. It's right in front of you.
Yeah. I mean,
this is how you build. Okay. In the NFL, we're going to build our offense with the draft. We're going to bring back guys and have returning starters who play together. And we're going to have a much improved offense. Now, right now, we have a big head start on our offensive line, correct?
Yeah, I think that we are actually... are you done with this? We stop sharing this?
No, we're going to look at the defense, too. Just mention the offensive line a little bit for the New York Jets. Look at what Green Bay's rolling out there.
Right. What I like about, and look, like in 15, there was 2 second-year players, a third-year player from when they drafted them, and then you had a couple of veterans leading the way from 2004 that were there all the time. So you had 2 guards that were there forever, and then they drafted 2 tackles. Well, actually, this tackle had been there forever, so Brian Bulaga had been there forever. You had 4 guys on the offensive line. I mean, look at that. Look how long they had all... Oh, no. Okay, wait a second.
The entire line's been there forever.
The entire line has been there forever. That's wild. That's wild.
Right. Now, why do you think Rodgers constantly did well in Green Bay?
Right.
This is what his rosters always look like. Now, look at his receivers.
Yeah. This was Randall Cobb in his prime, and what happens? He's getting a little bit older, so they draft Davante Adams the year before.
Yeah. Look at this roster.
It's crazy.
Now, do you want to compare the New York Jet roster that just played this year on offense to this? No, seriously. What was everybody thinking with this Rodgers experiment? especially with the offensive line. Okay, my exact words is Aaron Rodgers is going to get killed in his first season with the New York Jets because they can't protect him. You do recall that, right?
Yeah, because we were all in love with the fact that Tyron Smith was a big name, and we all just assumed that if you have, because it looks like our offensive line are good young players, but this was their first year playing together. Nobody takes that seriously. Everybody seems to think it doesn't matter if they don't have any continuity. Like everybody argues, no, they're like basically, our offensive line is great because the players are good, but there was never been a focus on the fact that there's never continuity. These were like they're playing together for the first time, and we expected them to be this great unit.
Okay, now going forward, we're going to talk about the players to re-sign. We're going to get into that. We're going to look at the Jets salary cap history today also, okay?
Yeah.
But going forward, we have a left tackle.
So I think for right now, and this is why we should play him the rest of the year, but in spite of what people are saying, silly people are saying, he's looking like he's going to be our left tackle in the future. Like I think it could be a lot worse. So far, he's made a couple of mistakes like any rookie would, but he's showing a lot of promise. His run blocking was supposed to be his weakness, and he's actually looked really good run blocking. The last game, his first start, where he actually got to start at left tackle with full time to prepare, he gave up one sack, which was more of a coverage sack because Rodgers held the ball for 5 or 6 seconds, and then a very soft penalty. If you take those 2 plays away, he played really, really well.
Okay, so now we have a left tackle. We have across the middle, if AVT stays healthy, we're returning the whole middle of our offensive line, correct?
Yeah, we have Simpson who's playing really well. We got Tippmann who's playing really well and developing into a very good player. And we got AVT is back for at least one more year, and we can evaluate whether to keep him. So that's 4 out of 5. We know we have him back next year. So there's finally some continuity. That's more than we've had like forever.
How about we sign Moses for 3 years as a and put him on right tackle and have him be the swing tackle?
Well, people are yelling, screaming that he's too old, but I don't see, he's shown no signs of slowing down. And how many times I've seen this teams not re-sign a 34-year-old because, he's too old. And then we see them doing good for another team for the next 5 years. And I'm tired of it. Even if he slows down, I would say give him 2 years guaranteed, a 3rd-year option. And even if he slows down in 2026, he's still a really good swing tackle, and he's not going to cost that much money.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. When we're building a roster, we're going young. We're going draft. We also want that veteran leader on both offense, on defense. We have Mosley, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
And he's a great leader. So he's a great guy to bring back to be the captain of this young offensive line.
Right. Moses, easily he could come back. He's a good leader, and he's a leader on offense. So now you got Mosley on one and Moses on the other, and they're our leaders for the next year. Correct?
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes perfect sense. Now, you build with the draft also. What went wrong with the Jet defense? Look at this defense first off. Okay, again, all drafted players. Okay?
Yeah.
A lot of them are there for multiple years.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Casey Hayward, the cornerback, had been there for 3 years. The linebackers, 2 years. Clay Matthews had been there for 6 years. Just guys that have been there for a while. BJ Raji, nose tackle, been there since 2009. That was his 6th year. So you got a combination of some veterans and some young guys.
Okay, now the fallout of the Rodgers contract is that the Jets, so you don't know who did it, they signed all these 1-year contracts, and they didn't want to sign Huff. They had to trade JSM because he was coming up for a contract, correct?
Yeah.
They let these guys walk, and it was all fallout from that contract. because they couldn't get tied up going into the future with all these young guys that we have that need to be extended.
Mhm.
Okay? That ended up destroying the top 3 defense.
Yeah, we dismantled that whole defensive line.
Right. Now, continuity also works on defense, especially on defensive line, because when you're playing together, you've seen the stunts. You've seen everything, okay? And you know how to react to it when you play together. After the play, you guys talk about the play, and then you don't let it happen again. That's how you grow continuity on the offensive line and on the defensive line. And that's what got destroyed with the Jets.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what we need to end. Now we're looking at this. The last thing we're going to do with this is, who did the Jets return this year? Okay, on offense. They had Hall, who actually played last year more than 9 games. They had Hall, they had Garrett Wilson, they had Conklin,
Tyler
and they
Conklin.
had Tippmann, correct?
Yep. We didn't have Tyrone Smith. We didn't have Simpson. AVT was hurt, so he only played a few games. And we didn't have Morgan Moses last year. So Tippmann is the only guy that came back this year from
On the
last year.
offensive line, correct.
Hmm.
So they started the year with 0 chemistry and continuity. How is the offensive line playing the past few weeks? It's much improved.
It's actually gotten a little bit better because, I mean, I don't think individually they've been bad, but like they've been bad as a unit for the first part of the season. They haven't been as good as they should be, but in the last few weeks, that hasn't been the problem.
They're improving as the year goes on.
Yeah, they're becoming
Right,
more
yep.
of a more of a unit. Especially, Olu just got in, so but yeah, they look as good with Olu as they did with Tyron Smith. He was horrible.
Okay, so now let's go to the Jets salary cap situation now.
Okay, let me know if you see oh no, I think I have to stop sharing and I have to start over again. Okay, so.
You responding to any comments there, Johnny?
They're just all talking to each other. No one's asking any questions. To fix the New York Jets, we need a new expansion team. That's what Billy SBC is saying. Snowball is saying that the 33rd team ball, the people we're using, the consulting people, have it down to like a few GMs already. But so that's what our guys in the chat are talking about. Let's go to you want to go to the Jets salary cap calculator or the free agent list?
The salary cap calculator.
Okay. So this is 2024.
So change it to 25 first.
Right. This is what's relevant. 2025. Okay. Do you want to start cutting guys? Do you want to I think that we should cut Aaron Rodgers, by the way, and take the hit all at once in 26. What do you think? I mean, in 25.
That's fine. We're gonna cut everybody and cut the guys that have dead money. We're gonna show how many people are actually not on the team anymore. Okay, DJ Reed's not on the team. Cut him. Now, here's your first decision.
You only save $6 million, and I will argue that Alan Lazard is worth $6 million.
Okay, we're gonna hold on to them. Cut Reddick.
Right, he ain't coming back. We're not cutting Sauce. We're not cutting Mosley. We'll lose money in the cap if we cut Mosley. So there's no gain in that.
Okay, Conklin's going.
Yeah,
He's not on the team. So cut him.
yeah.
Keep on going.
Jermaine Johnson.
Devontae Adams.
He's
I have a
gone.
name today.
He's gone.
Look at this, right? Keep on going. Tyron Smith's not on the team. Ken Lewis not on the team. And look at the dead cap.
Yeah, one second. So Tyron Smith will be gone.
Look at the dead cap. Go down one more. Ken Moore.
He's gone.
That's dead cap, Jeremy. That's crazy.
So do we keep him or not? Then maybe we keep
No,
him.
you cut him. No, he's not on a team.
Oh, it's void. That's right. So this is why I'm saying we should absorb it all in 2025. Just let this be the new GM, new coaching staff. We'll see what we have. We'll build on it. We'll try to develop these young players, getting them that continuity. And in 2026, we'll have a lot of money back. And then we could start complimenting the young core players that are getting used to playing together. But okay. Tyrod Taylor. I think we have to keep him.
No, Tyrod Taylor is going to be our starting quarterback next year.
Okay.
Until we-
Michael Carter's second stays. Right.
Right.
We signed him. He's guaranteed money. There's no point in cutting him. Brees Hall stays. Thomas Morstead stays. Wes Schweitzer cost us nothing, so we may as well.
He's a void year. He's not even on the thing, so cut him.
Okay. Joe Tippmann we're keeping, obviously. Zerline's gone. Right?
Yeah, look how much they lose on that.
I know, 2 million, 2.4 million. It's ridiculous.
Cut him.
2.3 million gone.
Okay.
Jeremy Ruckert stays. Max Mitchell stays. Michael Clemens stays.
They all stay.
Right, Corley. All the young guys stay. There's no point in cutting any of these guys. I mean, they could do that at the end of camp.
Now go up to the top.
Is that it? Is that all there is? There's no one else left to cut? Okay.
Oh. Now Lazard is the only question.
Right.
Okay,
Well,
now bring it down. Show the top how much cap space we have.
we don't we have to submit this? Or is it already counting it?
It's already counted.
So it looks like we are at, for 2025, we would have 35 million in cap space, but we got a lot of holes. We cut a lot of guys. But that's okay. I don't care. Like, if you look what we would have left after doing this, I don't care. I think it's fun. We got a lot of young players.
That comes from cutting Rodgers. Okay, that's all dead cap. We only cut. None of these guys were coming back.
Right.
We didn't cut them. They're not even on a team. All that money being spent was all dead cap. Okay,
Right.
That's why.
Look at the cap. Look at the cap space. Look at the cap.
That we want to do.
But look at the cap space for 2026. That's what I want people to understand. Right? I mean, like, yeah, we're going to suffer in 2025, but 2026, it's looking very nice. And 2027, we're like clean completely. Based on, obviously, we're going to have to pick all the young players we want to retain. But you could see we have all the space in the world in the future to pick and extend the guys we want to keep, like Garrett Wilson.
Okay, now, you could franchise. Well, we're picking up the fifth-year option, obviously, on Wilson, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then we could franchise him up to how many years?
It's up to 2, but I don't think we'll do that. We'll probably I mean, hopefully we're going to extend them, but we definitely easily own him for 2 more years. I mean, we own him for next year's year 4, so we own him for there. We're going to extend him, so we own him for there. We could franchise him, so we got him for 3 more seasons after this in our control.
Right, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Now that's the big question. I'll be honest with you, Jeremy. I think we need to cut Lazard.
So, okay, so what we're saying is we're not all in to win next year. I mean, Lazard is like would be our WR2 next year. I mean, we still have free agency to try to find someone, but understand if we cut Lazard here, we have Garrett Wilson and Corley and Xavier Davis.
I want the kids to know that we want them to play ball.
Okay.
Okay.
Lazard's gone.
Right. He's probably going to want to go hang out with Rodgers anyway, correct?
Yeah. Now, we do have 42 million, but we need that money because we're going to have to go. I mean, we have a lot of holes to fill.
Okay. But do we, though? Okay. We're going to have a draft class coming in.
This is
with
true.
Probably 7, 8 of those holes.
Yeah. I'm having I'm having trouble finding what's his face on this list. Where's our tight end? Where is Yeboah?
Oh, he's not. Oh, we got to sign him. He's not there anymore.
Oh, okay. We should extend him now. What are we doing?
Okay. Now go to the 26th. Go 1 year into the future now.
Okay.
And start at the top. Okay, this is the 2026 roster.
Right.
Okay, now you're a GM looking at this. You got Quinn Williams. Keep on going down. Now, what do we got going on? You have that's dead cap.
Right.
Okay, so cut Mosley.
Okay.
Okay, you have Ishamo, McDonald.
Yeah.
Simpson is dead cap. We're going to talk about re-signing him.
Right.
Quincy Williams. We got plenty of money for both of them, correct?
Plenty of money for both of them. Simpson should be extended way before that. So
Right, but both of them should be extended.
sure.
Okay, now get rid of Tyrod Taylor. You got Michael Carter, Tippmann. Look at these names that we have. We have a decent roster, young roster. We have some players on this team.
Right. This isn't horrible. This isn't horrible for the future. Like, and next year is even better. But like if you look, Quinn Williams, Olu, McDonald, we're gonna have Simpson, Williams, Carter, Tippmann. So our offensive line is together. Obviously, AVT is going to have to be re-signed if we're bringing him back.
You got two young running backs at the bottom, correct?
Yeah, we got we got the young running backs on the bottom. We got Jordan Travis, backup quarterback.
Whoever we signed this year, right? That we our free agents this year are going to be on this team, like Sherwood and Echols, correct?
Yeah, and we could, like, for example, we could extend Breece Hall's for this year, right? Like, this will be Breece Hall's 5th year.
Right.
So he's going to be on the roster, extended.
So how's that? That's actually not a bad base for a GM to take over.
Right. I think the big deal, the big question is going to be AVT. If we sign Morgan Moses for just a 2-year guarantee, if Morgan is guaranteed 2 years, we'll have Morgan Moses. So our offensive line will be 4/5 done. It's just a question of AVT. If he stays healthy, I think we have to sign him. Well, we should.
Right. Now let's go. Now that we take a look at this, they got a ton of money to sign whoever they want to retain.
Right.
Which includes everybody that's not showing on this list.
Right. Look, well, everybody over here. You have Ahmad Gardner. You have Sauce Gardner. He'll probably be on an extension.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sauce is on this team. GW is on this team.
Yeah.
Okay. JJ still on.
Breece Hall is.
Right. You have a really nice base.
Well, and we have the money to sign and extend these guys that want to stay, like if they're willing to stay. I mean, if you look, this is 2026. There's $202 million of cap space. We have plenty of money. This is why I want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers' cap space all in 2025, because this is the year where we have to worry about Gardner, Wilson, Tucker, Hall, Jermaine Johnson, like all these guys. Now, of course, a lot of these guys will be on extension, or some of them, but I mean, we're going to have this young core, and we still have Sauce, Garrett Wilson, probably Vera Tucker, Breece Hall. We have Jermaine Johnson. We have these guys.
Right. Now, even if you pick up the 5th-year option and they get paid, I think, the top 3 at their position or something.
No, 5th-year option is not that bad.
Right.
It's not the same thing as a franchise tag. Yeah, 5th-year option is not that expensive. It's like half of what the highest people get paid. It's like 15 to 20 million usually.
Right, exactly. If we're paying that kind of money for those 4, you still have $140 million left.
Yeah, crazy.
Okay.
We could be in really good shape if we just are willing to let go of Rodgers.
Right, and if we just retain our guys with a couple of free agents that we have currently on the team. Then we have these 2 draft classes coming in, 25 and 26. Okay. We have a very high draft pick this year, especially since the Jaguars play the Jets. And the Jaguars also play a couple of other teams. I think they play the Titans and someone else. So one of those teams is going to pass the Jets.
Yeah.
All the Jets have to do is lose to the Jaguars, and they're probably picking second automatically. Okay, because everybody else is playing each other.
Right.
Right. So you're adding a premium player to this, as long as they don't make the same mistake and go draft the wrong quarterback, which they better not do.
Well, I mean, we can't draft a quarterback this draft. It's the wrong year. We both know that. I mean, unless Drew Aller came out, and if Drew Aller came out, we got to sit him for a year. He's not playing. I mean,
I have no problem with that.
He's only 20 years old, so
I have no problem with drafting Aller. Okay, we are not drafting any other quarterback in the first round, second round, third round. I got my eyes on two guys, maybe late, that we could put on the roster for sure.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, if he comes out and he doesn't go in the top 2 rounds, he's got to be a Jet. Third or fourth round.
Not for nothing, but if you look at 2025 and who's still on the roster, as I scroll down, we're back in 2025 with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. If you have a good coach, you could make the playoffs.
Exactly, Jeremy. Especially if we spend, you could either go offensive on the draft, or you could go defense on the draft, and you're drastically improving this team. No matter which way, no matter who you take, if you come back with the best wide receiver in the draft, the best defensive tackle, the best tight end, whatever you want to do, you are drastically improving this thing.
Yeah, this is I mean, it's all coaching. There is still, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to be competing for a championship, but I've seen many teams with rosters weaker than this make the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Steelers is the perfect example. If you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers the last 6 or 7 years, this roster is as good as the Steelers roster, as some of those rosters that the Steelers have put out in that field in the last 7 years, without question.
Right, but what do the Jets do? What do the fans always want to do? They want to blow it up.
They
want to do it the wrong way,
or they want to waste all the. They want to blow right, and they want to kill our cap by letting some of these guys go, not signing these guys, and getting some superstar name like a Le'Veon Bell who's going to do jack shit for us.
Exactly. Now, what's happening with the chemistry on the offensive line? Returning 5 guys, obviously going to be much better. Okay?
Yeah. Like Morgan Moses. Do you want to select Morgan Moses right now? We could go through this right now and add the players.
I don't think you could add them here, though. Correct?
It says select. Let's see if I had his button. It says I could extend them for franchise tender $25 million, transition tender $22 million. No, we don't want to pay him that much. We want to renegotiate a new deal with him.
Right.
Because he's not getting $20 million. No team in the NFL is giving 34-year-old Morgan. I mean, he's been solid for us, but he's not a $20 million right tackle.
No, obviously.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm getting at, how clean this roster actually is.
Yeah.
Okay, so JD did a job where I think the who's the acting GM right now?
The acting GM is what's his face? What the hell's his name? Savage.
Right. He came out and said that every decision they made had an eye on the future. And this really proves it, because they have an easy out. To be clear to the whole cap in 1 full year is an incredible job. Okay. Yeah. They come back and look at a roster that looks like this is also a really good job.
Yeah, I don't think, if I'm a prospective GM, I mean, take away the smell of Woody Johnson and the Jets organizations and their history. But when you look at the roster and the cap situation, if I'm coming in and I'm thinking, as long as in that job interview, I get to cut Aaron Rodgers, I am not stuck with a $35 million cap hit in 2026. I get a fresh, clean slate. I get to come in there in 25. I get to look at my young core. I get to draft and put the best team I can together with that young core, draft new young players. And then in 26, I get a clean slate with $200 million in cap space. And I get to pick the guys I want to re-sign and extend. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, JJ, whoever it is. I like this job. All I need as a GM, I'm thinking, is I got to find myself a good coach, good coaching staff. and I got to solve the quarterback issue, but I have a bridge quarterback at least for next year.
Okay, now here's the other thing. The mistakes that we made. Now, we just said we're not drafting a quarterback unless it's the one we want, right?
Right.
That same mistake is never happening. Okay, we are not taking a chance of looking at a quarterback and trying to project what they think he might turn into. That's
Right.
never happening again.
Right.
Number two, go back to the top of this roster. You're staring at Quinnen Williams.
Yep.
Okay? Whoever's coming in to coach this team, the first question I'm asking them is, what are you doing with Quinnen Williams? And then my next question is, have a nice day. That's the first thing I was saying if he wants to trade Quinnen Williams. Because that's exactly why the Jets have sucked for the past 50 years. They don't retain and add to talent. Okay? We're always looking for greener pastures out there, and we don't take care of our own.
You got to keep him. You got to keep him. He cost us $21 million. He's the leader of the defense. Now he officially becomes the number one player on our defense. He's the captain. He's the man. He's our best player on defense. There's no doubt about it. There should be no talk of getting rid of him. We are not cleaning house. We are not starting completely over. We are retooling. We have good guys in this roster. We should not give up on the hope. We should not give up on the hope of making the playoffs next year. And Quinnen Williams should be the leader of the new team that we're building.
Okay. Now, after we're looking at this and we draft our two quarterbacks later, our quarterback later, and we run it back in 20, we have Sauce Gardner sitting there. If we seem to still be needing a quarterback, I might be willing to give up Gardner for a couple of picks if he plays well next year. A couple of first-round picks.
Well, I mean, there are teams out there that might look at the situation and they might come to us and say, hey, what if they came to us this offseason and said, we'll give you 2 number ones? We'll give you our number one this year, and we'll give you our number one next year. Give us Sauce Gardner.
You know what? I'd like to hold those. We don't need your number one this year. You know what I'm saying? Because if we're not taking a quarterback, we already have, replacing another rookie with Sauce really doesn't do anything. Next year, if we're going to get a value pick, a really nice pick for him, and we're in a position to take, we got our number one and we have 2 other number ones, an extra, we have 4 number ones we could deal.
Well, we need him to. We need Sauce to come back and have a good year just to bring up his value in stock anyway. If we ever thought of trading him, this is the worst time to trade him. His stock is at his lowest. We want to bring him back with a good coaching staff, a fresh new team, fresh new attitude. Hopefully, get the old Sauce back or some. Have him start playing better again. It's top 5 in the league, and get back his trade value if we trade him at all.
Right.
If we trade him at all.
Now, you could pull up the Jets free agent list or look at the next 2 years and come up with decisions.
Yeah.
No, I'll be honest. If we kept Lazard too, we got to sit down and talk about that one. This team might be very competitive if we do well in the draft.
Yeah. Because what I'm saying is if we look at the free agency list, are we going to get a better wide receiver than Allen Lazard for $6 million? Because that's what we're saving by cutting him. $6 million. So are we going to get a better right now? Allen Lazard in this status that we temporarily put him in cut. Right now, Allen Lazard costs us, if we want to keep him in real money, $6.5 million. Are we going to get a better replacement for that if we want to make the playoffs?
Okay. Would you rather spend the money on DJ Reed?
That's an option. You see, instead we can go to DJ Reed right now. We can't do it on this list because it's hold on 1 second. Is DJ Reed still on this as ours?
Yeah, he is. Go. He's not on the team. He's at the top of the.
Where is he?
Keep on going.
There he is. Oh, but he's void, so we have to sign him to a brand new contract.
Right, right.
Right. The question is how old is how much? Because you talk because I mean we're not getting it for 6 million, and that's what Lazard's costing us. And if you're paying Reed 15 to 20 million, okay, you can make the argument you need to clear up that Lazard money to get him.
Okay, well, that's our first major decision.
Honestly, I think that at 29 years old, we
How
should
many
let
people in the chat? What do they want to do?
guys. Do you want to hold on to Reed, or do we let him walk? Let Stigler's Eccles play. See what we got there. Maybe draft a cornerback. So Wild Wave is saying no to Reed. Like Reed, don't sign him. What do you guys think about Lazard? He cost us 6.5. Are we going to get a better replacement, or should we not replace Lazard? Should we just start Corley as our WR2, maybe draft another wide receiver and start them and go with kids? Or we also have to look at the free agency list because maybe there's a wide receiver we want to go out and get that's not going to cost that much that we like. That's a young guy. That's not going to be a $30 million guy, but be a reasonable guy that we can get for the next 3 or 4 years in here. I mean, that's rare because the league tends to overvalue average wide receivers.
Okay, so we'll hold on to that thought. Let's go to the Jets free agents now first.
Okay. So
We're
these
going
are
to look at both 25 and 26.
okay. So this is 25 Jets free agents. Hassan Reddick, we know he's gone. DJ Reed, still a question.
No, pull it up on the actual on Spot Track.
Oh, sorry.
You have it.
Oh, sorry. I forgot I have to share it. Okay. Don't whack me. Don't whack me, okay? Don't whack me. I'm getting it. Sir, I'm getting it. Please don't whack me. Okay.
I guarantee, Jeremy, we got this team in the Super Bowl in 3 years.
If we were in charge. You got to
Right.
find the quarterback and you got to find the coach, though.
Okay.
Okay,
There you go.
Hassan Reddick we know is gone.
Right.
Reed is probably gone.
How many people, what did they say on Reed? Wild Wave just said yes, and that's it.
Well,
Let him go?
he's saying get rid of Reed. Todd says if Reed takes a team-friendly deal, keep him. If he takes a team-friendly deal, what is a team-friendly deal? I'd say what, 15 million?
No, he might be a little bit less than that. He's 29 years old.
Yeah, if he look, if we could get him for anywhere from the range of 10 to 14 million, I would do it. I would do it. He's a good,
So,
solid cornerback.
We have the money in the future too, where we don't have to pay it all this year. We could squeeze them in.
Right, and we don't have to pay. We don't have to make it a long contract. I mean, I want to try to make the playoffs next year, so I think that we do have to spend some money and make some effort to get, to complete the team.
Okay.
To get a good roster. I don't want to sacrifice the future. I don't want to overpay a guy in an extra long contract that's make a stupid deal. But if we can pick up a guy like Reed on a 2-year deal for $12 million a year, $24 million, 20 guaranteed, I jump at that.
Right. Okay, Conklin.
So he's gone.
Right. Yeah, he has to be gone.
Well, there's no
Age,
point. I have nothing against Conklin, but there's no point in keeping him at this point. It just doesn't make any sense. This is a tight end heavy draft. Second, third round, get another tight end. He's not doing anything that's that crazy or changing our team. You may as well just have Yeboah and Ruckert and whoever you draft out there.
Okay, now Tyron Smith's out the door.
Out the door. Tyron Smith, we
Okay.
can't get him out of the door fast enough.
Okay, now Morgan Moses.
Yeah.
We're going to look up, you're going to find out the highest paid swing tackle in the league, okay, which shouldn't be that much, and then add in some incentives to this guy's contract.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I mean, right now his previous AAVs have been $5 million. He doesn't he doesn't attract that much money. He's not having a Pro Bowl year. He's not having he's good. He's solid. It's not like he's a Pro Bowler. I don't think there's anybody.
Right. So he's easily coming back for $5-6 million.
Yeah. We get him for $5-6 million. Give him a guarantee of $10 million. Guarantee of 3-year deal for 3-year deal for $18 million, $10 million guaranteed, whatever it is.
with incentives too. What the hell? We got plenty of money in the future.
Right.
You make us happy, we make you happy.
Yeah.
Solomon Thomas.
Gone.
Okay. Ashton Davis.
Oh, I mean, I'll open the door for you.
Keep on going.
Wes Schweitzer, I couldn't care less. Who cares about Wes Schweitzer? That's a backup player. I think Isaiah Oliver's played well. I'm perfectly happy giving him $2.5 million to stay if he wants
That's
to.
fine. That's fine.
Fotu's gone. Can't stay on the field. Chuck Clark, I don't care. I mean, he's whatever. He's Chuck Clark is just, if somebody comes in, if another team comes in and wants to pay him $5 million a year, goodbye.
Okay, Yeboah, actually.
I would like to, by the way, I would like to keep Chuck Clark if he's under $3 million, because why the fuck not? Like, you know what I mean? He fills a role. Kenny Yeboah, yes, I would love to keep him. He doesn't cost anything. Nobody's paying anything for Yeboah.
Okay, now here's the big ones. Sherwood, without a doubt.
Yeah, and Sherwood's, again, people are overvaluing and thinking somebody's gonna come and pay him all this crazy money. Nobody knows who he is. Quincy Williams is the big name on our roster, and CJ Mosley. Sherwood is a guy who we see and we like, who's developing.
Okay,
I think we get him for what, $4 to $5 million a year.
I think maybe a little bit more because you want to keep him happy and keep him with us through this entire thing. You want him here 3-4 years.
Right.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I want him here 3-4 years. Okay? Now you got the next three are interesting. What do you think?
Oh, wait a second. I went to the wrong place. There we go. The next three. Surratt, I couldn't care less about.
Okay.
Eccles, I'd like to keep. I mean, if we can get Eccles for the same kind of deal, maybe like 1.5 million, that kind of thing, get him real cheap. If he's 27, the league hasn't seen him play, nobody knows who he is.
Even for a little bit more, just slightly more, it's fine.
Yeah. Eccles is a really solid backup. He could even, I think there are teams that Eccles could start for.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Charles, I'd like to keep special teams.
Definitely keep Charles. Definitely. Somebody might try to steal him. Somebody might try to steal Charles as a special team ace. So don't be surprised if we end up having to pay like 1.5 to 2 million for him.
I don't have a problem with that either. You want continuity.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you work your way back, we said who? Charles. Keep on going up. Who we said we wanted to bring back total.
We want to bring back Charles, Eccles, Sherwood, Yeboah, possibly Chuck Clark, Isaiah Oliver. I don't care about any of these other guys. Morgan Moses, possibly DJ Reed, possibly if it's a team friendly deal.
You're saying either Reed or Lazard for this coming year, correct?
Yeah. You know what? I don't think Reed's going to get that much more than 11 million. We were already paying him 11 million. I don't think anybody's coming in for a guy, for Reed right now and signing him any real long deal that's that much more than that, to be honest.
Let's keep him for continuity then.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now go, and we have plenty of money still.
Right.
You could put a little bit of this money into the future because we have a ton of money in 26. Switch it to 26.
So everybody we wanted to keep, we still have plenty of cap to draft our draft class and even some money left over if we need to fill some spots.
Oh, we have a ton of money left over.
Yeah, and that's with taking the $59 million hit for A-Rod.
Right.
Right. So people have to realize
you brought that to 26. All you have to do is switch the date, Jeremy.
Right. Oh, wait a second. You want to go back to that? Wait a second. Okay. You want to look at 2026. All right. Sorry.
Free agents, correct.
Come on, forget about it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn it to 2026. Can you see?
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Rogers has been long gone. Mosley is gone. By that time, he's better be gone. Sauce is going to be either extended on a 5th year. He's going to be the extension, the 5th year.
Correct.
Sauce will be on the 5th year. Quincy Williams.
There we go. Now we're making decisions here. Quincy and Simpson are both getting contracts.
Yeah.
Okay, now our only trade option this coming year, I don't want to break your heart,
Yeah.
is Simpson. What do you think he gets us
What do I think Simpson gets us?
on the market?
I have no idea. I don't know. He was pretty solid this year. A solid right guard. Why would you want to trade him?
Because if we need to pick up an extra second, if we could combine a pick swap with Simpson to get up there, I would think about doing it to get an extra second.
All right, because I thought you liked.
Maybe get tied down the money on our drafted guy. I know you're not that happy because you love Simpson.
Not only that, I like continuity on the offensive line.
Right. But I mean, we got to look continuity for the long term. A 5-year contract might work out also. But he's actually the only guy I would even consider thinking of trading.
Now, one of the things that's nice about Tippmann is it's very easy to draft a center, a very good center, in like the 3rd round of the draft. You can get the best center or one of the best centers, and you could move Tippmann over to replace Simpson. So that's the one good thing.
Okay. Now Taylor's walking. Wilson is actually obviously getting his 5th year. It's not a huge contract.
Right.
We could afford to pay him. And we're probably signing him that year. Tucker, if he plays healthy the rest of the year and most of next year, we're signing him. We're signing him.
Yeah.
And we have the money to do so.
Yeah.
Tremaine Johnson?
We don't know what we're getting yet. We have to see him for the next see how he does next year. But he's going to be we could do the 5th-year extension on him.
Right. I mean, Mustard, he's a punter. Right. Brees Hall's getting interesting.
Right. Brees Hall is running backs aren't expensive, and he's another 5th-year extension that's probably going to cost us $10 million because he's a running back.
All right, and we do have the money.
Right. He was a 2nd-round guy. Oh, we don't get to extend him. 2nd-round guy. He's a free agent.
Okay, so that's a decision.
But you know what? That's a decision. We see how he does next year. We see how Braden Allen does. We might have our new guy in Braden Allen. It depends on Hall. Hall's not having a great year. He's not an elite running back. He's a $5 million running back right now at best. I know that sucks to say, and it's hard for people to hear. But if you look at the year he's having, he's not an elite running back right now. Like,
Okay,
let's let you know.
Rocket, I'd like to keep him around because he's drafted as a tight end.
Cheap. He's cheap. He's a local guy. You keep him around as a blocking tight end 2 or tight end 3.
Okay, and then we have Max Mitchell. No harm, no foul if he proves himself in the next year and a half to keep him around as depth. Right?
These are dirt cheap guys. These are like minimum wage, $1.5 million guys. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So how are you looking at the comments?
Let me look. Yeah, what about the comments?
How did we do so far?
Well, Yeti is saying Sauce is good. Yeti really likes Conklin. He's saying that AR never sees him. I just think Conklin's getting to the age where it doesn't matter, Yeti. I mean, like, by the time we're seriously ready to really, really compete, I just don't think he's ready. You're saying Brees is having a great year? It's a shit team. Yeah. I mean, it could be a Saquon Barkley situation where if we let him go, he's going to be great somewhere else. But you know what? He's not going to get the salary Saquon Barkley is getting anyway. We can probably get Brees Hall to stay for $8 to $10 million. You have to look at the market for running backs. It's just not that high. So you're right. I mean, yeah, I have no problem keeping Brees Hall, but we're not paying $15 to $20 million for him. We're not paying him like he's freaking Saquon Barkley. I'm sorry.
So this is a good base for a roster going forward, correct?
Yeah, I think what's bad about our team right now is we have no coach, no GM, and no quarterback. I mean, obviously, if they hire a good candidate at GM, you feel better right away. Okay, they got a legit guy. If they get a guy from Baltimore, or you bring in the assistant from Detroit, or you bring in the assistant for Kansas City, who's had nothing but great drafts, you right away you say, okay, we have a consulting firm, we're bringing in a GM. We did if we're able to get somebody from one of those teams with that kind of resume, we should be happy. And then it's all about the coach, bring in a good coach, quarterback. But those are the hard pieces. GM and coach, I think Woody Johnson there's no salary cap for that. Woody Johnson could pay whatever he wants to bring in a GM, and then that GM bring in the best possible coach. All right. So that's what it is. The question is quarterback. We're going to have to figure out the quarterback position, but that's been our problem for 50 years.
Well, we already know who's starting for us next year.
Yeah, we got a quarterback. I know, but I'm saying for the future, like in 2026, who's the New York Jets? Who are the New York Jets moving forward with a quarterback? Who's our future? Who's going to take, who we putting our eggs in the basket to say we're trying to be? I mean, because this team has everything else in place and every opportunity, if they continue to draft well, to be a championship competing team if they have a great coaching staff and they find the right quarterback. Everything and of course you have to draft well because there's a lot of open spots. But if we're drafting well, we have a young, good core. I don't see any reason why we can't be a competitive team. We're not in horrible shape. This is not disgusting or ugly. The whole thing about A-Rod, getting rid of him, what that does for our future is after next year, we're clean. We have a clean slate. We could do whatever we want moving forward.
And we have a ton of money. You're looking at having, after we sign all of these guys that we want to retain going into 26, we still have $60-70 million left.
Yeah.
Okay. To build. That's when you add the big time free agent. Now, you want to look at NFL free agents real quick?
Okay. How do I get to that?
Does it show there or?
Let me look. I thought you gave me something else. Let me look. Share screen. I see 2025 NFL free agents. Is that just the Jets?
I think you could change it to other teams, though, no? Or
let me look. Oh, okay. I'm sharing your email, so that's stupid. Okay. We could probably let me see if I can get everything. We see this is where we need a guy like Yeti to help us out. Okay, so let's see if we can switch this to other teams. Okay, so we could go all the way up to all teams. And I think that I said all teams, so I have to freaking process it.
You got all teams there.
What? Oh, it's all teams now. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is on top. Why is he on top? Okay. Oh, because he's the highest previous salary.
Okay.
TJ Watt, he ain't coming. He ain't coming here. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, we can't afford him. Okay.
Yeah, we need bargains. We need bargains.
No. You're looking for one player right now. You have $12 to $15 million tops to spend.
Wait a second. We're going to 2025, aren't we?
Right.
This is for next year. Sorry, let's fix this. Okay. So here we go. We're bargain hunting. We don't have that much money.
You're looking for one quality 25 to 27-year-old player.
Okay.
We're not doing what the Jets always do. We're looking for DJ. We're looking for Reed again.
Here's your guy, T Higgins, wide receiver T Higgins, 25 years old. He's gonna get a fortune though.
I don't know. He looks interesting though.
Yeah, I mean T Higgins is someone to talk to. Imagine getting him opposite of Garrett Wilson, and then you have so you have Corley Higgins.
When you clear the cap, you could play with this now.
Right, because you don't have to pay Higgins. You could sign a guy, a free agent, and you don't have to pay them where it hits the cap in 2025. We could have it hit the cap in 2026. Right? Right. Just give a big signing bonus, make it count like where we only recognize the signing bonus divided by the amount of years. So now you're looking at like a $10 million hit or an $8 to $10 million hit. And then in 2026, that's when we're paying them $25 million.
Okay, now keep on going. And hopefully we have a quarterback on a rookie deal.
Right. So here's a guy, cornerback Carlton Davis. I think we're going to draft cornerback. I don't think we're going to sign cornerback.
Okay, hold on. What does Ward look like?
Who?
Hold on a couple. How old is he?
Who?
Ward instead of Reed.
He's 29. He's the same age as Reed.
Okay.
But he's better. Well, is he better? I don't know.
What happened?
I don't know if he's better enough to justify paying him the amount more he'll make. He's a bigger name.
Right. Okay, keep on going. There's our guy.
Justin,
Okay, what
yeah,
about
Justin Reed, the safety, is 27.
I think that's a match.
We could use a real safety finally, a good safety.
If we're signing somebody, it would be Reed and Reed.
Check out Sam Darnold. He's freaking 27. Wow, that's young.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
we're about to get Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, right? Remember the trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good, Donald, right now. But okay, but getting back to this, the safety, Justin Reed.
Yeah. Yeah, Justin Reed, 27 years old, coming from a winning accurate. Like if we get the assistant GM from Kansas City, this is a Kansas City Chief guy right here, right? So he might want to get this guy. Now we might have to pay a New York Jets penalty. You know what I mean? We might have to pay a penalty because, like, why does he want to come to the New York Jets?
Okay, so as of now, we're taking Reed, right? We put the Higgins dream out.
I'm sorry, do what?
As of now, we're taking Reed.
Justin Reed?
All right.
Okay, fill that safety void. I'm not worried about tight end because there's a ton of tight ends in the draft. A ton. I mean, it's like such a tight end rich draft. This is the year that you draft a tight end. In the second round.
Keep on going. Right now, he's our best option. That's who we're going for, correct? Reed.
Yeah. There's a guard here, James Daniels, who's going to be 27 years old for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think he's not all that great, though. But he's solid. Zach Wilson, young quarterback, 25 years old. Ready for the prime of his career. Byron Murphy, cornerback, 26. He's a little bit younger. The defensive end, Chase Young, who's only 25 years old. He's on the Saints right now. I think Chase Young is a pretty good player. So that's the defensive end. We need depth there. I don't know how much he's going to cost. He might be really expensive. I have no interest in Trey Lance.
Okay, we're going with Reed. Okay, that's our one. Everything else is that pieces. We're not spending heavy on free agent.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else that you have to just. There's no one else jumping out that you have to run and try to get. You know. I mean, look, we'll see what Conklin's going to get. I mean, Conklin's 29, though, guys. I mean, I know people are going crazy. Conklin. He's 29 years old. You got to think ahead. Like, we're at a different place now. We're no longer an all-in. We're no longer in an all,
right tackles out there?
Well, Morgan Moses is the right tackle. He's the best one I see up here. This is why you got to sign Morgan Moses.
Okay, how many people want Conklin?
I mean, look. I mean, I don't care if everybody really wants Conklin that bad. It's not going to be the worst move in the world because Conklin's not going to cost a lot. No one's paying big money for Tyler Conklin. They're just not. I mean, we overvalue our own players all the time. We've been excited about Conklin. We've had him for like 2 or 3 years. He's done nothing. Like, it's, we don't have a quarterback. It doesn't matter. I mean, you know, the Raiders don't have a quarterback either, and Bowers is freaking crushing it. So we got to stop saying, it's because we don't have a quarterback.
I mean, we don't have a quarterback.
But you think at 29 years old, Conklin's going to have his first big breakout season? He's 29. He's not going to suddenly have an 800-yard
You
receiver.
know what, though, Jeremy, for continuity, we could keep Conklin. It's not a big deal. What's he going to get on his contract? 4 or 5 million, 4.5?
Yeah, I have no problem taking Conklin because it's 4.5. Because he'll cost nothing. Like I have
He's
no
probably
problem
good
taking
locker room
Conklin.
presence, I'm
But
sure.
but like you can't look at Conklin as our primary tight end one and then say we don't have to draft a tight end. We have Conklin. If you're going to look at Conklin as a veteran tight end you want to bring back, and then still draft a tight end in the draft to be your future number one tight ends, I'm cool with that. That's
Okay,
fine. That's fine.
So we decided Reed was going to be our guy.
Justin Reed is the guy at safety. That's our guy. Safety, Justin
Okay.
Reed.
We're going to sign Morgan Moses. We discussed who we're going to keep and so forth. We got a good base.
Yeah, if you can keep Chuck Clark, keep him too. Like Chuck Clark won't cost a lot. If you can keep Chuck Clark on the roster, some continuity. If they really, I mean, obviously the owner hates Tony Adams, so I don't expect to see him back.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Now you got a time for a 2-minute mock draft?
No,
Okay.
we're already 6 minutes over.
Okay. But so what do you think?
I think that look, I think what we're seeing, I think the answer to all of this is if we find, I mean, it's all ifs, right? What we're saying though is if you're thinking who's going to take this job, okay, Woody could be a problem. I get it, but he's a very rich guy and he can overpay for that. And any assistant GMs want opportunities to be GMs, right? So if we get a good GM and we get a good coach, and I know that's a lot of ifs, and let's say we feel good as a fan base about where we are as far as GM and coach by the time we get to March. Let's say we're not going to be convinced because it's going to be some unproven person, but let's say, okay, they look like decent qualified guys. The coaches, maybe it's Vrabel, maybe whoever the coach is, if it's half the fan base is going to be miserable, half is going to be happy, whatever. The situation for this team will be we have a good young core. We have a good salary cap situation starting in 26. So this offseason will be tough. We only have room to make a couple of moves, but the future will be bright. Tons of cap space, tons of young guys that will have plenty of money to extend and keep on the team. And then the question is the same question that 15 to 20 teams are asking every year. Quarterback. It's everyone, right? It's everyone except the 5 to 8 teams that have a premier quarterback is sitting there worried about quarterback. And you know who the worst teams are? The teams that are in the worst shape, in my opinion? The ones that have a good quarterback and but that aren't good enough because they're not elites. Like Seattle, who's just spinning tires with Geno Smith. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. You're not winning a Super Bowl. Geno Smith is your quarterback. So to me, that's worse. I'd rather be a team that needs a quarterback that's at least trying to get the right guy than be a team that just has that mediocre quarterback that's never going to really win anything.
Okay, now, Jeremy, what you're saying, if they did exactly what we just said to do, they would have tons of draft capital in the future to go all in on the 26th draft for Manning. Okay, because they could trade Gardner if he does well and go all in for somebody like him.
So here's the $1 million question. Is there any team out there that you think that would like give us their 7th round pick? We don't want anything back. Like we have to take something because it's trade. But like for a 7th round pick, we'll just take Aaron Rodgers off our hands, and then we don't get stuck with the cap hit at all.
Nah, you gotta pay them a 2nd round pick. They did that in history. Somebody made a trade like that. Do you remember a quarterback was traded for like a 3rd round pick?
They do it. They do it in basketball all the time. In basketball, they'll give a player all. Yeah. Huh?
There was a quarterback trade. I think Denver did it. No.
I don't know. But I know that what you're talking about, like literally, we would have to give somebody a pick and Aaron Rodgers. I think you have to take something back. Like maybe we take a 2028 seventh round pick. You have to take something back in return. I think that's the rule. But I think that I could see us having to give a fourth round pick or a fifth round pick and Aaron Rodgers to a team in order for them to take his salary. His salary's not that bad if you're a team that would actually play him. He's 24 on the cap next year, and then he's 35 million the year after that. So if you're a team that's stupid enough to believe that Aaron Rodgers could make the difference for you next year, and you're willing to take a $35 million hit in 26 to go all in on him next year, if there was a team like that, we could trade him. But somebody tell me the team. Like, tell me the team that would believe they have a chance at the Super Bowl if they had Aaron Rodgers right now, and their only problem is quarterback. Like, what team is that?
I doubt that's happening.
Right. I can't think of a team. I can't think of an NFL team that's going to think that way. Like, are the Chicago Bears stupid enough? Like, Caleb Williams is not ready. Let's take 1 year with A-Rod because they think they have a great roster. Like, the answer is probably no. I mean, like, I can't think of a team that's going to believe they have a chance at the Super Bowl because Rodgers is their quarterback next year.
You know what? They made a mistake with Rodgers. You just got to eat it, and it's done.
Right. We just got to eat it. We got to eat it for 1 year. That's not so bad having to eat it for 1 year.
I think in our situation, we could even eat it over 2 and still be able to sign everybody we wanted. But this actually, you see, the Jets are actually lucky. They accidentally are put in a position where they have to rebuild the right way.
Right.
Because they can't go on a spending spree now.
Right.
Okay? They can't do what they constantly do to destroy the chemistry.
Right.
So, it actually worked out. Who are you taking with the first pick, Jeremy?
Who am I taking? Oh, Yeti says Cleveland. The problem with Cleveland is they got $72 million going to Deshaun Watson for the next 2 years. $72 million. They don't got the money for A-Rod. Who am I taking? What in free agency or the draft?
The first round of the draft.
I don't know yet. I mean, because this is not a great draft. Let's say we end up with the number 7 pick. Let's say Ward is still on the table, like Cameron Ward or Milroe or whatever, that quarterback, and there's some stupid team that wants to trade up for him, that's willing to go back, like a team at number 15 or 16 in the draft, that's willing to trade up to get their quarterback, and they're going to give us their first round, their second round, and next year's first. See, that's a deal I might make and trade back.
Might make?
Yeah, I think I jump at that deal. I think I jump at
it. We're running.
We run for that deal. And then we take the best edge or the best defensive tackle or the best, you could even take a right tackle at that point if you're picking 16th. There's no right tackle there's no tackle worth a top 10 pick in this draft, but there's definitely possibly a tackle that's worth a top 20 pick. But do you want to go there if you already have Moses signed? I don't know. Like maybe, there's a plenty of direction we can go. We could use a superstar safety. We could take a wide receiver. Look at it. We're going to need a wide receiver for the future to play opposite of Garrett Wilson. I'm not going to put all my chips in Corley. He's a different kind of player. Corley is a slot gadget player. He's not a number 2. He's not a boundary receiver. Like, who are you going to put opposite of Garrett Wilson in the future? Like, we need a wide receiver. Like, there'd be nothing wrong with drafting that.
I'm sorry, you're not taking the best defensive tackle?
I would do, if Mason Graham is up there, I'm fucking grabbing him in a second. If Mason Graham slipped, if we traded back, I'd be okay if we took him 7th. If nobody wants to trade up, if nobody offers us shit and they took Mason Graham, I'd be okay. If we traded back to 15 or 16 and got Mason Graham, it would continue the last 8 years. Like, the best day to be a Jet fan is on draft day, because I know we always end up screwing it up, but man, we have fun draft days. If we were to trade back and get Mason Graham at 15 or 16, I would consider that like a grand slam. That would be as exciting as when we got JJ at 26.
Okay, and I'm going to put it out here. I think Cam Ward and Sanders are both in the same neighborhood as Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
I'm
I agree.
saying it ahead of time.
This is not the year to draft a quarterback. I mean, there might be some guy that surprises that we haven't mentioned or that you like in the third round. There's always, you never know for 100%, but like I would never waste the number one pick on Ward or Sanders. I would never pick a quarterback that every bit of their college tape shows they are one read. Like I am not going to use a first round pick on a quarterback that has only shown on film the ability to read one read and not progress to even your second read. That's ridiculous.
And what about throwing a ball at one speed as hard as you can, and that's the only throw you show?
Right. I want to see
Okay.
multiple speeds. I want to see touch passes. I want to see short passes. I want to see vertical passes. I want to see timing, anticipation passes. And I want to see them at the right appropriate speeds. Everybody forgets that. Why did we have so many drops with Garrett Wilson? Because when he threw an 8-yard pass, he threw it like he was throwing the ball for 40 yards. Wide receivers aren't ready for that. They expect the quarterback to be able to throw them the football at the necessary speed of how open they are. If you're running across the field 8 yards, you're expecting him to touch the ball in there. Just like sail it right in, not freaking wing the ball at you. I don't know why it's so hard for people to look at college quarterbacks and see that.
Exactly. We're going to be taking a lot more looks at different quarterbacks, correct?
We got a lot coming on next week. Friday, we said we would look at Ward.
Right.
We're going to break down Ward and tell you why we don't like him.
So the fans in the comments, they should probably leave comments about what they think we could have done better. Right, what they're not happy with. Obviously, they want Conklin, but
yeah, but we're not getting ripped apart too bad. There's some guys upset of what I said about Breece Hall. All I said about Breece Hall is I was the biggest Breece Hall fan for the last 3 years. No one was a bigger Breece Hall fan than me. All I've done is I've conceded that because I used to compare him to Adrian Peterson, that he hasn't proven that. Like Breece Hall has a lot to prove. You can't pay him like he's a freaking elite top 3 running back in the NFL. Because he doesn't have the stats at all to show it. And I don't know why people are saying he had such a great year. There's a lot of disappointing runs, like where he's been indecisive. He's still really good in space. I mean, he's still extremely dangerous. And I understand everyone's saying it's such a shit team. It's not such a shit team. The offensive line hasn't been that bad. He's just hasn't been that good. Like he's good, but he hasn't been a superstar. It's running back. Running backs that are very good make $7-8 million. Saquon Barkley only made 16. Philly's paying him 16. He's the best in the NFL. So you're not going to put Breece Hall in that category because he hasn't proven it. And I understand people who want to defend him and say he could be Saquon Barkley if he's in the right situation with the right blocking. But could have, would have, should have. You got to do it before you don't get paid until you show it. That's all I'm saying.
Good point, Jeremy.
You got to show it. If you want to get that paid, we can't do that. We can't pay $15 million because we think he'll be great if he has a good team around him. Like you can't do that. But you know what? I don't think it's going to cost that much, and I think there's a good chance we'll be able to keep Breece Hall. It depends on how like the new management. Like right now, our players are probably very unhappy. It's probably not a very good time to be a New York Jet. I'm sure they're feeling the way we're feeling. So they're going to have to bring in a really good GM and a coach that's going to change the culture. We have a full year. Our new coach is going to have a full year to change that locker room and make it a place where these players want to stay. Like people, somebody said there's odds out there that have Jeff Ulbrich as like in the top 5 to come back and return. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like we have got to change that locker room completely because we've got to make guys that are very unhappy right now. We've got to completely turn them around. In 1 year, that coach has got to come in and make them like being in New York Jets.
The problem with the Jets is that this Rodgers experiment turned out to be a disaster. You can't make, Garrett Wilson your number 1 receiver You can't have all these new guys come into his team and Hall's team, okay, and take over. You need to grow with the kids. And once you get that nice base with the kids, then you can invite somebody over to join the team. And they fit. They want to be on the team. You understand what I'm saying, Jeremy? They did it backwards. You can't build a team that way. You blow up the chemistry. You're causing, if you didn't see this coming 3 years ago or 2 years ago when they wanted to make this trade, that the chemistry would be an absolute disaster, I don't know what to tell you. Now, if they tried to pull this, they brought Rodgers to this team this year after they built the entire team the past 2 years, and all they did was add Rodgers to a loaded stock roster with a good offensive line, that team would have been 100 times better than what we're seeing right now.
Wildwave says something that I said at the time. I was on Twitter saying, I know Davante Adams is good, but we're 2-5. And is he really going to save the team with our coaching? And I got attacked for it by people. You know, you're talking about it's Davante Adams will be unbeatable. We were 2-5. We have crappy coaching. And I said, do you think it's enough to really just bring in Davante Adams? Like, that's going to change this team and save this team. How many times have we said that? If we get this player, it'll be different. It's not, you need a coaching staff and you need a quarterback. And it can't be an old man. It's got to be a young, up-and-coming quarterback that's going to grow with his team.
So we're going to go over everything real quick. We're not taking a quarterback unless we know he's our guy, correct?
Yeah, I mean, and they might disagree with us. We might get a new GM that is in love with a quarterback in this draft. It'll terrify me. I probably won't agree with it. But hopefully we get a GM that's smart enough that you don't just take a quarterback because you need a quarterback with the first-round pick. You don't do that. Not if you don't have a guy. Not if the guy is not there. You don't do what the Giants do with Daniel Jones. You don't freaking reach. Like that was right. I mean, you learn from other teams. You don't reach for a Daniel Jones with the 6th pick. Like, don't do stupid shit.
You know, Daniel Jones was the one-read quarterback in college, right?
He was a one-read quarterback, man. He was like that's why I don't understand why people are in love with Sanders and Ward and these guys. Because everything you say bad about Daniel Jones are these two quarterbacks. They look one direction, one read. If it's not there, in 2 seconds, the play is blown up and they're off script. And I understand that their numbers look great because they're playing with elite talent around them against inferior talent, and they have guys running down the field wide open. So I get it. But look at the plays where they're under pressure. Look at the plays where they're under pressure, and you'll see they break down instantly. They scramble. At least Sanders, better than Ward, looks for his check down. Ward doesn't even look for his check down. That's how bad it is. At least Sanders throws to his check down. So I'll give him that.
Now, going forward, we said we're going to go really deep on the quarterback position this year. And that means we're going to take a look at Jackson Dart.
We are going to break down the quarterbacks for the next 2 years. So we're going to break down the quarterbacks this year, just in case the Jets take one. All of the Jet fans will be prepared to know who's on the board and what. And if we draft the guy, they'll know who we drafted because we'll have seen, even if you have a different opinion of us, you'll have seen the film. We're going to show tons of film. So you're going to get to look at all the prospective quarterbacks with us talking about them, whether you disagree or agree with us. And next year, we're going to do the same thing. So whenever this team drafts a quarterback, every Jet fan, if you watch the channel, if you watch these videos, you'll have the opportunity from the Jets fan perspective, whether you agree with our perspective or not, or you have your own perspective, you're going to have the opportunity to at least know about the quarterbacks. And to say, I got to see them play. I got to see a lot of film on them. And when I say a lot of film, I'm not talking about highlights. Right now we're showing some highlights, but when the offseason starts, we are going to show full games, every play from full games. So you could really break it down on the All 22.
Right. Now, I want to take a really good look at Van Dyke.
Yes, Wild Wave. We'll break down the defensive line too. I might not do that with Tony. Tony's a quarterback specialist. I might do that with somebody else. I have other guys who might want to break down the defensive lineman if you want to look at that.
Okay, so we're good, right?
We're good. Guys, thanks for joining us. For anybody who watches back the video, like it. If you don't agree with us, don't get personal. Don't curse us out. Just say that you don't agree with us. Yeti loves Breece Hall, thinks he's an elite running back, and I'm not cursing him, and he's not cursing me. I love Yeti, and I know Yeti loves me. We're allowed to disagree on things, and I'm not saying Breece Hall is not good. I'm just saying we can't pay him $15 million a year, and I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, Yeti. I'm just saying you can't pay him $15 million. That's all I'm saying. But the bottom line is, guys, we're just here to hang out and talk Jets. This is not life and death. You don't have to go crazy if you disagree. If you disagree and you want to leave a comment on the video, if you're watching this not live, say what you think, say your opinion, and we'll keep it up there, and we'll have a nice conversation. If you attack us and get personal, I have to delete the comment, and then we're not having a conversation, and that's stupid, and it makes no sense. And everybody in the chat, thank you for respecting that. Thank you for having good, healthy conversation, for giving your opinions. And we'll be back on Friday. Check us out. We'll be looking a little bit at Ward, not the game film yet, not the All-22. We'll be looking at his highlights. We're just doing an overview of the tendencies we noticed from him. You have anything to say, Tony?
I'm good to go. I'll see you Friday.
All right. You take care, Tony. Everybody take care. Thanks for joining. And I'll see you when I see you. We are live. We got Harry W. We got Richie from Jets Media, Matt O'Leary, Iowa Jets fan, who in the house. We got Dom C in the house. We got Steve, live, CEO of the Jet Lounge. So I knew I'd get rich on my channel. See what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Woo.
Jets by $1 million today.
Yeah.